here to talk about my Italian grandmother, whose name was Anna Angelora Natoli. She was an immigrant from from Naples. From Florence. She was from Florence, and my grandfather was from Naples, and they immigrated to this country and lived in Brooklyn and bought a house there. And my grandfather bought her a huge hall mirror, which was on ground floor level. You had to pass it every day when you went out. The mirror stands about 7 feet high. And my grandmother had 15 surviving children out of 23. Our house was a very busy place. But every time anybody went out of the house, the last thing they did was they stopped at the mirror. So they would stop at the mirror and adjust their hat and put their stole on, pull their gloves on, and then they would exit the building. That mirror stood there all through my childhood and into my adulthood, and finally the building was going to be sold. All of my family members having left the building and no one wanting to live in Brooklyn any longer than they had to. When I found out the building was going to be sold and the mirror was going to be sold with the building, I went home to Brooklyn from Boston, where I was living, and took the mirror home with me. And I have carried the mirror with me ever since. When I was in Boston, I had the back re-silvered. And the mirror is very old. When my grandparents bought it, it was used. So it's very, very old. It's about 7 feet high, very ornate, made of wood. And the beauty of the mirror for me is that every one of my relatives, my Italian relatives that is, has been reflected in that mirror. And so I can look in that mirror and I know that they're all there behind the glass and their image is there. And so it's really cool. And when I pass on, I'm going to pass on the mirror to some of my Italian relatives who live in Brooklyn. And hopefully it will become an heirloom of their house as well as mine.